everybody? Welcome back to MAPOP Sports. This is Grandy. This is your first time here, welcome. Appreciate you guys checking out the channel, checking out this video. You guys are returning. Hopefully everybody's having a good Tuesday, I guess you guys could say. So hopefully everything's going well for you guys this week. It's picking up for me. I had a really, in regards to the eBay store and everything, I had a really good weekend. I felt like if I can have a weekend like sales-wise, numbers-wise, like this past weekend, if I can have it every weekend, throughout the year, man, it would be good. I'd be well on my way to reaching my goals of where I want to be and everything for starting this business. So other than that, it is almost August, so it's the end of July of 2024. I just wanted to kind of recap a little bit what I feel like I need to do better. Just a couple tips, couple ideas that I think I needed to get better at to increase my sales. Because, you know, we're always, I guess you can say, people are always talking about the good stuff, the good stuff, the good stuff. How about the stuff that, you know, that I've learned or I think I need to get better at to increase? Because like I tell you guys, if this is your first time here checking out the channel, this is just kind of my journey. I'm documenting of me starting my own business of selling sports cards full time. I'm learning. I'm not a professional in regards to knowing everything. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm learning as I go, and it's a changing industry. That's what I've definitely learned. There's ups and downs. There's peaks and valleys of sports cards. I've collected cards for almost 30, 40 plus years, but I never really went full-time selling sports cards until a little bit over a year ago. So let's talk about it. Some things that I think I need to get better at throughout the end of 2024 to the beginning of 2025 to hopefully I can increase my sales and just do better revenue-wise. So the one thing for a fact I know I need to get better is that I need to stop spending money on stupid shit and just buying lots just because I need to. Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I definitely realized I need to get better at and stop doing is spending money on stupid shit and just technically buying lots because I think that the price is right. That shouldn't be the case. So I figured out, I think, well, at least I'm going to focus more on is just buying stuff that I know that is more liquid. Just buying stuff because, you know, let's just say recent comps on specific cars and a lot. Maybe that lot might be going for, you know, at comps for $1,000, but I buy the lot for $600. But it makes no sense if I'm holding that for 6, 7, 8 months to a year, only to get what I want for comps, because it doesn't make sense. I need to be more focused on buying lots and buying inventory that is more liquid. I know I need to focus on that a little bit more because I was just kind of buying, but I just need to be more selective. I'm getting better at that. I feel like I'm going to get better at that. I'm going to focus more on being more selective on my inventory purchases. So that's what I would recommend to anybody who's looking to flip sports cards, or just myself. You know, I'm going to hopefully look back on this video and realize that I did get better at that, I hope. So that's number one. I definitely need to not just buy anything just to buy, just because the pricing makes sense. More of, I need to buy stuff that's more liquid, it's more in demand currently, and that will always be in demand. So I got to be more selective in regards to that. Another thing I definitely learned in 2024, at the beginning of this year, that I think is going to help me is be more selective of what I get graded. So during the pandemic, a little bit even before the pandemic, but definitely during the pandemic of 2020, 2021, those years, you could send almost any rookie cards of any sport, get it graded, and you'd make money if it's a 9 or better. All right, you'd make a lot of money actually. If it was a 10, 9s, you would make a little bit of money. 8s, you'd probably break even. All right, so this year has completely changed. Actually, I want to say the last year and a half, I'd say it's completely changed. Especially this year, I felt like a lot of PSA 9s, SGC 9s, any 9s. You're no longer getting what you would get for the card raw. So at some cases you're losing money. So I have to be more selective of what I'm sending in to get graded. I think last year and the year before I was sending almost on a weekly bi-weekly basis. Now I'm more on a 2 to 3 week basis, and I'm more selective on what I'm sending in to get graded, because you have to make sure that specific cards are going to come back on 10. Or if it comes back a 9, you have to at bare minimum break even. That's my goal, is to get at least a 9. My honest to God, expectation is to get 9s on every card. If I can get 9s on every card, then I know I'm going to either break even or make a little bit of profit. So all 10s will be gravy. That's how I look at it. That's how I go into it. I understand. I want to get 10s. This should get a 10, but my expectation. So then, kind of lower your, revenue wise is that I'm going to get a 9, at least get my money or a little bit of profit. And that's what my expectation. And then you have to be selective on whatever specific card. So I'm getting better at that. I need to get better at that. I think that's one of those things where I think a lot of us, so it's, right now, what do they say? It's the junk slab wax era, whatever you want to call it. So I need to be more selective on what I get submitted to get graded. I have to make sure that they're gonna produce a revenue that it's gonna be efficient for me, so then I can generate profit. And then on top of that, I can, the other thing is when you're selective of whatever cards you get graded, you have to make. And the only other thing when you're being selective of selecting whatever cards to get graded, I highly recommend making sure that they're liquid types of cards. So that's another thing that I got to make sure. Number one, be selective. If they produce a 9 or whatever, that I'm going to get at least my money's back, and also on top of that a little bit of revenue. And then on top of that, you got to make sure it's liquid. Just because PSA 9, PSA 10, whatever, the value comes back the last couple comps, maybe that card hasn't sold for like 3 months, so it's not a liquid card. Do you want to get that graded or not? So you have to justify what cards you're going to get graded, what I'm going to submit, and I need to get better at that. It's a work in progress, but I think if I can get better at that, I will minimize the amount of wasted capital and money, because if I submit a card, get it graded, comes back a 7 or an 8, I'm losing money. That's negative. You're in the red. So I want to minimize that as much as possible. So got to get better at that. And then I guess you can say another thing that I definitely, I'm getting better at. I mention it all the time. But one of those things is don't worry about what others say or do or tell you to do or things like that. Worry about myself more. Focus on myself, on my journey and my road more, building this business. I don't need to worry about what people may criticize me, may say things like this and that, of how I do things, or just kind of focus on what I'm going to do, and don't worry about the if there's negativity, criticism, or if there's any type of criticism. I'm not saying don't keep an open mind. I love criticism, especially one of those positive criticisms versus the negative ones. But you have to understand that sometimes you just got to focus on yourself more and do what works for you, versus sometimes others, it doesn't work for you. So I need to focus on that a little bit more. I say it's a lot harder to do than what you say. So I just letting people know, and then just don't let that stuff affect you as much as, have your goals and whatever you're going to reach. I need to work on that a little bit more when it comes to selling sports cards. And then, I guess one last one that, I definitely want to do is just getting better at regards to the card shows in person. I think I do really well. However, I need to fine tune my inventory a little bit better. When I say that is that on a yearly basis, I'm slowly figuring out, what sells more in January, what sells better in May, what sells better June, July, August, all those things that I need to fine tune my inventory a little bit better so that I'm better at the in-person card shows. I think they're definitely a great place to generate revenue, number one. Number two, and it's liquidity. You got to focus on your inventories to make sure it's liquid, whatever you have at the showcases, things like that, to making sure that you're getting your best bang for your money. Because if you're working that entire weekend, you got to consider that work, and you got to consider that you got to sell and got to do well. And I think if you have the right inventory, you can do that. I've been doing pretty good, but I want to do better. So that's where I want to get better, is at figuring out the time of the year, whatever these shows happen, what types of cards sell better, whether it's specific sports, specific players, positions, specific types of cards, things like that. So I have to really focus that a little bit more. I'm going to go back and look at some videos. I'm going to, of myself talking about what happened at certain shows, things like that, because that's my homework. I'm going to use that as a homework before upcoming shows to make sure that I have the right inventory that's going to move the best for me and be as liquid as possible, because what's the whole point of this flipping and doing this for a living is that I'm in it to try and make some profit and some money. It's not investing, it's a job. So keep that in mind. I got to keep that focus on my head, and hopefully I can turn a black positive net return on things. So there you guys go. Those are just couple items that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit today. It was just kind of on the back of my head that it's halfway through 2024. I want to get better at, so that I can increase my business, expand it, grow it, and just keep doing this because I love it. I appreciate all the people who buy my cards, and all the people like you guys are my buyers. Don't forget, check out the eBay store. Links in the description. Every little bit helps. But yeah, man, I just want to be able to do this for as many years as possible, because it gives me the opportunity to spend as much time with my kids and my family, the flexibility and everything. But the only way I can do that is if I work my ass off to make sure that this is a successful business. So there you guys go. Other than that, man, if you guys like this stuff, feel free to subscribe. If you have not, I still appreciate you guys just checking out the video, watching this all the way through, listen to me ramble a little bit. But like I said, I can't wait to see what the rest of this year has for me, for MAPOP Cards, MAPOP Sports, and I can't wait to, hopefully, if I'm on the right track, that I'm still here another year from now. So other than that, man, have a good rest of the week, guys. Till next time, have a good one. Go Steph Curry. Go Steph Curry.